Hello and welcome again. Today we're gonna solve the problem 2 presented in the problem sets. So if you have not solved this problem, I really recommend that you try solving it on your own. So open up the code blocks, try with it, try to make it work. So that when you watch the how I did it, then you can basically understand why I'm doing something and why I'm not doing it the other way or whatever. So it's really a great way if you try on the problems on your own and then see how I did it before just watching the videos. So I'll assume that you already tried on this problem. Maybe you did it right. Then I'm gonna tell you congratulations. Maybe you didn't wrong, or maybe you're stuck. So we're gonna solve the problem together. So here it says write a C program which reads two numbers, base and expo, and calculate the power of base to the expo and print the result. And here note that power base comma expo equals the base times the base times the base times the base and so on and so forth times the base expo times. So if we take, for example, 2 to the third, basically we are saying 2 to the third equals 8, but also 2 to the third equals 2 times 2 times 2. So we have multiplied 2 by itself 3 times. Okay, so that's basically how the power works. So for example, here we have sample input. So we have the base is 5, the expo is 2, and the sample output, the power of 5 comma 2 equals 25. So 5 squared equals 25. Okay, so we multiply 5 by itself 2 times. So 5 times 5 equals 25. So that's how we do it. And here it says, note, do this task in 2 different ways. The first way is with a pow function predefined in the math.h header file. And the second way is by creating your own power function. So let's start doing this. So as you can see here, I have this project created. So problem set, there you go, that's the main.c file. So it's an empty skeleton for the C program. And now what I'm gonna do is basically I'm gonna start with the first method. The first method, it says here you have to include the math.h header file. So to include it, just use the include keyword and then math.h header. And then basically you just take two numbers, the base and expo, from the user and call pow on them and print that out. So it says here's two numbers. So okay, so I'm gonna declare the first number called the base, and for the exponent I'm gonna make it integer. So expo. And now I'm gonna read those two numbers from the standard input. So I'm gonna print f. So the base, and then I'm gonna ask, so that the base, I'm gonna print that out. Then I'm gonna scan f. I'm gonna read a floating point number from the user, which is going to be the base, and remember, it's the address of base and not the variable itself. And then I'm gonna copy these two lines to do the same for the expo variable. So there you go, expo, and then expo is an integer, so that's %d or %i, and then I'm gonna give it the address of expo. Cool. Now the next thing we want to do is basically to printf the result. Or let's put the result into a variable and then we print that out. So I'm gonna declare a variable called result, which is going to be the power. And as you can see, code blocks is helping me here. It tells me that this function takes two double variables and the result is double. So the first variable would be the base, okay? And the second variable would be the expo. And again, here it says the first variable is double, the second variable is double, but here I'm sending expo as an integer, right? But it doesn't matter because double is bigger than integer. I mean, every integer number is by definition a double number, but every double number is not an integer number, okay? So the double is a bigger set which contains the subset of integers and so on. So here we calculate the power, we put that into results, and then we print results back to the screen. So result, and then %f, because it's float, and then the result. And let's see how it works. So I'm gonna run the program and it asks me for the base, so I'm gonna give it 5 and then I'm gonna give it 2, and as you can see it prints 25.0000, so that's 25, so that's the correct answer. Now this is basically the first way to do it. Now the second way to do it is to basically create the power function. So we're gonna create it ourselves. So I'm gonna delete that header file and I'm gonna define a function. So I'm going to define a function called pow. I'm going to give it the same name as the power function in the standard math header. And I'm going to give it, it's going to be a double base, and then another, I'm going to give it an integer exponent, okay? And basically, I'm gonna keep multiplying. So first of all, let's create a variable called result, okay? Which I'm gonna give it 1, and then I'm gonna keep multiplying that variable by base expo times. Okay, so let's create an iterator. So I, and for I starts from 0 while I is less than base. We increment I, and basically every time we multiply result by the base, okay? Oh, that's expo, okay? Because we repeat this process expo times. So we keep multiplying result by base expo times. It's just like the definition we've got here. So we multiply base times base times base. Of course, that's times 1, because that's why we've initialized result by 1. So if we use any other value, say 0, then the whole result would be 0. So 0 is not the correct answer. 1 is the correct answer. So we initialize it by 1, and then we keep multiplying it by base times base times base expo times. So that's what we did here. And finally, we return that result as the result of our function. So return result. And now let's test. 5 squared, and that's 25, and that's the exact same answer. So basically that's it. That's how you solve the problem in these two different ways. See you then.